We have here the Cannondale Supersix Evo and the High Mod 2, size 48, weighing 7.58 kilos. And in pounds, 16 pounds, 13 ounces. Stay tuned for a video where you hear a free buy sound test on those new RSL wheels. Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with that video. And today I have for you guys the 2024, I believe, Cannondale Supersix Evo High Mod 2. This bike retails for $8,300, and this is a size 48. This is going to be their mid-tier level of this bike with all Tegra Di2 group set, but you do get their top-tier wheels on here. In today's video, we're going to go over the whole bike, talk about everything they changed on this from the previous model, because this is the latest iteration of the Supersix Evo, and then talk about what the High Mod 2 as well is for $8,300. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So what this bike is for $8,300, the High Mod 2, you're getting their second-tier carbon level for the frame. They have the Lab 71, which just released, which was all the buzz, all the rave, everything like that. That's now their top-tier carbon they offer. They have a Cannondale Supersix Evo Lab 71. It's just going to be a little bit lighter carbon. It's going to be the fastest model they offer of it. But what the High Mod 2 is going to be their second tier of carbon level here that they offer. It's still going to be what was offered last year in terms of their carbon fiber. Very lightweight, still a top-tier carbon fiber. They even have a High Mod 1 that's still $13,000. There is no discrediting this carbon fiber. But the High Mod 2 is going to be just a little bit heavier. I think it's by like 40 or 50 grams. It's really, really small. But if you want that top tier race performance, you're gonna have to go with that Lab 71. But the good thing about this bike, still at $8,300, you're still getting all the wind tunnel testing. You're still getting all the work that went into making this bike so aerodynamic. And you're still getting everything they designed and changed about the bike. What the High Mod 2 means, it's going to be the category underneath the High Mod 1. That's just going to be a component tier list. So when you see their bike that's a High Mod 1, I believe it comes decked out with SRAM red, and you get a power meter and stuff like that. That's for $13,500. This is going to be all Tegra Di2, so this is just a High Mod 2. Those bikes are the same exact carbon fiber level, but this one is just a lower tier group in terms of components. The wheels on here are still their top tier wheels. These are the exact same wheels that are going to come on the Lab 71. These are the exact same wheels that are going to come on the High Mod 1 as well. So you are getting a very nice wheel set that comes on this bicycle as well. What did they change this year's Supersix Evo bike by Cannondale? What was the big change this year? Well, one, Cannondale finally changed from their regular bottom bracket they had in there, and they went to a threaded bottom bracket. They made it more reliable. They heard everyone saying that they didn't want creaks, they didn't want cracks. They want something that's more reliable to consumers. So they went on there and just put on a standard BSA threaded bottom bracket, which I think a lot of people will like. They also changed the front end of this bike. If you guys remember on the old Supersix Evo frames, they had this massive gap in here where cables were able to run in the front. It didn't look that well. I thought it looked kind of ugly. So what they were able to do is they were able to take the steer of the fork. So the fork comes up here, goes through here. They were able to take the steer and they changed it to call a delta steer. It's now a triangle instead of a traditional round steer. And what this accomplished is that now the brake cables can run through the stem, down through the steer, and now that there's this triangle, you have room on each side of that triangle to go ahead and run the cables through the frame itself. Why they did this instead of just doing a circular steer? Well, when you have a circular steer inside of here, what that's going to do is it's going to take up more space. So now you have to make bigger bearings. You're going to have to make a bigger head tube as well and make more space. They want to keep this bike very lightweight. They want to keep it sleek and want to keep it more aero for the wind. So they were able to keep this traditional size of this front head tube and accomplish the cables running internally with that new delta steer on there. So that is a nice change to it. They also changed it where the cables are ran through the handlebar underneath the stem. These spacers break away as well. So now it's much easier if you want to change your stem on the fly. If you're getting a fit, you can break away these spacers. So you don't have to actually cut anything. Whereas there's other bike models out there that the cables are still ran through the handlebar, through the stem, and then down into there, where that you have to re-bleed brakes, and that is a pain in the butt. So they have this new delta steer. We'll see the longevity of this delta steer with a triangle shaped steer. The circular steers were working for a while, or it still are working. I don't see any reason to change it, but we'll see what happens there. With this, they also changed the tire clearance. This bike can now take up to a 30 millimeter tire. Right now this comes spec'd with a 25 millimeter tire on here, but we can go up to a 30 millimeter tire on this race bike. This is following the traditional of the normal now. People want wider tires to be more comfortable. They're saying it's faster. That gives riders the option. I do find it funny that they do still spec the bike with 25 millimeter tires. I like that. I think that's what a race bike needs. But if you do want to run a little bit wider tire, you can. As we can see here, the seat post is much skinnier. The seat post is very thin. They wanted to accomplish this by making it super lightweight as well. And then they added some aerodynamic shapes to the seat tube as well. Now the battery is not inside the seat tube. It's going to be into the down tube right here, and you have an access port underneath this bottom bracket right here. This is where you're going to go ahead and access the battery. Nothing new. Bicycles have been doing this for a while. I believe Canyon's doing this. Other companies are doing this as well. It's just another spot for your battery to be at. It doesn't affect the consumer at all in the end run. It actually makes it a little bit easier to go ahead and disassemble your seat post if you do need to pack the bike. But yes, that is a change to the bike. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the water bottle integration, because they made a big deal about it. I'm going to make a big deal about it. They made these proprietary water bottle cages and water bottles that come with the bike, so that way they fit the down tube a little bit better to make this more aero. Because you can make a beautiful aero bike in the wind tunnel, but as soon as you put a water bottle and cage on it, it kind of throws all that out the window. So they crafted this bike in the wind tunnel with these bottles on here. Now that's all fine and dandy. That's great. I think it's gimmicky. I don't think it's necessary. You put my fat ass on their bike that's 6 foot. I have wide, chunky legs. I'm gonna be going. It is what it is. You know, I don't think it's cool. And then also, this has to go back in at this certain location. So I grabbed this water bottle out here. It's like a rectangle ob shaped. Then I have to concentrate at doing 28, 30, 26 miles an hour. And I have to make sure I get it in the right space as well. Again, something your body can learn, muscle memory, but I don't think it's necessary. And to be honest with you, I wish these cages were carbon. If I'm gonna put water bottle cages on my bike that's $8,300, I probably want carbon fiber. But it is cool they give you water bottles, I guess. I guess we're excited nowadays that they're throwing in the water bottles on an $8,300 bike. But that's what they changed on the Supersix Evo bike. I do like this bike. It was a little bit heavy for the weigh-in, especially in a size 48, but I did weigh it with bottles and cages and Garmin mounting on here. This is a high stack as well. But the bike, I think the color is beautiful on here. They also make it in all black. I did a video on the base model bike, which was $4,500, which is their lowest tier carbon. But this bike right here is really, really cool. I was actually really excited for this color. So without further ado, let's get into everything that comes on this bike and talk about the components, the wheels, and the handlebar. So starting off with the cockpit, you do get a Vision carbon fiber handlebar on here, which in my opinion looks really, really good. It has this raw carbon look that kind of matches the top tube here. This electric blue is stunning. I've never seen this electric blue on a bike. It looks really good. And then they have this kind of like raw, kind of like matte carbon to it, which looks really sleek. The cables are ran on this Ultegra shifter. That's just one hydraulic hose that goes through here, underneath the stem, and down to the steer, like I said before. This is their own Cannondale proprietary stem that works best with the bike. You do get the included Garmin mount and also light mount down here as well. So if you wanted to fix whatever kind of computer you want in there, that's also nice to give that to you. You do have these little cable ports, I guess. I would assume these are for mechanical. I don't know what you want that for. Maybe if you're running a different bike. Yeah, maybe if you're running, yeah, sorry, my bad. If you're running for a bike that didn't go through the stem down there. So these cables are ran right through here and then go underneath the stem. This would be like for like a tarmac where it came out here and went underneath there. But the Vision bars do look nice. They have this nice ergonomic flare to them. I think it's a really sleek look, and I do like the raw look of it. You have Cannondale tape on here. The group set that comes on this bike is the new 12-speed Ultegra Di2. 2 gears in the front, 12 in the rear. Looks very sleek on there as well. Going down, I will show you this right here. Get a good look of underneath that stem right there, which looks beautiful. Nice Cannondale look in the front. And like I said, they changed the Supersix Evo, so now when you churn, you don't see the ugly cables and housings sticking out right here. I thought that was really hideous, to be honest with you. Nice wide fork to accept that wide tire clearance of a 30 millimeter tire. And then these are another talking point. These are their new and improved wheels that Cannondale makes. These are their hologram RSL50 wheels. These are their top tier wheel set that will come on the Lab 71 bike. They will come on the High Mod 1 as well, and they also come on the High Mod 2. These are their redesigned. They said 50 millimeter depth is their best racing wheel and the best depth for all around. Bladed spokes, and then they have their own Cannondale hubs in there, which they basically said are internals of a DT Swiss 240 hub. Again, I will say this. I talked about this in my video on Lab 71. If you're going to include these wheels and sell them your premium wheel sets and you're going to put on your Lab 71 that's a $15,000 bike, I believe they should come with ceramic internals. On this bike for $8,300, fine, you can get away with a DT 240 internal hub. It's still a great hub. There's nothing wrong with it. The bearings are nice. But if you're going all out balls to the wall for 15 grand and you're going to put this wheel on this bike, a 13.5 and also 15 grand bike, it needs to come with ceramic bearings. I don't care if you like them or not, you got to put it on there for that kind of price point. You do get the bladed spokes. They are tubeless ready, and they are a hooked wheel, which I do like as well. You can run tubeless if you want, but I do like the option of hooked wheels because of the fact you can run whatever you want it to run on there. It's always nice. They do give you a nice set of tires on here as well. I do like that. I like to see companies that give you a nice pair of racing tires ready to go on a race bike. We see a lot of companies kind of slouch on that and they'll just kind of spec really cheap tires in there. You get Grand Prix 5000s. These are a 25C tire as well. And like I said, you can go up to a 30mm tire. For the rotors on here, they are the brand new Ultegra rotors. 160mm center lock rotor right there in the front. And then you have the Ultegra flat mount disc brake caliper right there. We can see this beautiful shot of the Cannondale logo right there down the side. And like I mentioned before, this is a BS8 threaded bottom bracket with your Cannondale water bottles. It is a size 48 bike. And then we have the new and improved C-post right here. They added this little cutout, they said, for compliance, for vertical compliance on the bike. One thing I've always heard about Cannondales, I never rode one myself, but they always said these bikes are very, very comfortable and very, very vertically compliant. Super nice for riding long distances. They handle very well, very agile, very snappy, Jesse Coyle. But yes, I've heard that these bikes are super lightweight. You can even see the tubes. They're very skinny. They're snappy where they need to be. And I would have a feeling that it would accelerate really nice. It looks like an all-around race bike, but it looks like it was engineered for climbing first with some aero qualities, whereas their aero bike is more aero first and then lightweight second. So kudos to them there. We do have on here an Ultegra crank, a 5236 with a Ultegra 12-speed chain and Ultegra front derailleur. In the rear, it's a 1128 cassette, it looks to be. Ultegra as well with an Ultegra rear derailleur. That's your charging point. Again, these are the exact same depth as the front. These are the RSL 50 wheels with a DT240 hub. The rear rotor is going to be Ultegra rear rotor 140, so you have a 160 in the front, 140 in the rear. Very nice. I'll give you a free body at the end of this. And then you have right here your through axle points on the front and on the rear. It looks to be a 5mm Allen key, which will be nice on there, which is good. There's your flat mount disc brake for that. And then the rear seat of this. For the saddle, it is a Pro Logos saddle. It looks to be comfy, nice wide cutout for blood flow. And yes, that is your Cannondale Supersix Evo High Mod 2, $8,300, weighed right around 16 pounds, 13 ounces, in a size 48 with bottles, cages, and mount included. Let me know what you guys think about this bike. I'll see you guys in the next video. Here comes a free up buy sound test on this RSL with the DT240 internals. Here we go. Now remember, that's the same exact wheel set that's going to be in the High Mod 2, the High Mod 1, and also the Lab 71. That's brand new grease in there. They will break in and they will be louder, but keep that in mind.